if you haven't already guessed from the picture that's up there, the person in the middle is me. I did have an arrow to put down, but I think it's quite clear. So I will just caveat this with, I'm kind of up on the mountain at the moment because I've just defended, I've done my Viva, and I'm past the process. Thank you. So I would also like to say that it wasn't always that way. And this was me in 2017. So as far as I can see, I look happy. But in terms of the environments that I ended up coming into, I wouldn't say I was unprepared because, well, as someone that has been born and grown up in the UK and done my schooling at a grammar school and then gone to a Russell Group University and University of Birmingham, this was already my experience. So you go into universities as an undergraduate, and especially in STEM, and in my chemistry cohort, there were only 4 Black students. This is a pipeline problem that doesn't just begin here. It needs more systemic and holistic sorting out, but there is something that we can do here. And I'm really happy, and I have to say a lot of thanks to Kemi, to Joseph, to Parry, to Gifty, to Andrea as well, for the work that you've done already, and the work that I know that you are going to do and continue with, because the change does start here. And it's sometimes where, if you can't see that change, you have to be it. So for reference, with this picture, when I started, I was the only person in my cohort, as is clear, but across the 5 cohorts, I was the only Black person as well. So you come into this environment, you're already looking, and you're not seeing anybody that looks like you. So people talk about imposter syndrome a lot, and I don't really like the idea of it as a syndrome or something that's a problem with you, because it's the environment, and it's the environment basically showing you, okay, if you're not here, there must be a problem, and maybe I shouldn't be here. And I felt that throughout my PhD, and that really led me to really look deep within. I was already doing a lot of outreach, because I really do think it's important to give back where you can. But 2020 was a bit of a changing point. And we started a lot of networks. The Imperial College London Black Doctoral Network has already been spoken about, so I won't do too much more of that, but I'm very happy that Andrea is leading that and taking that forward. So shout out to you. But also outside of the institution, things like, if many of you may have heard of the African Caribbean Research Collective, and what we did there, really just about bringing a community together and bringing a community to this PhD space, because once you're here, you are isolated, you are alone. And it really doesn't reflect a lot of what we know. So for me, myself, I'm a Black Caribbean person, and Kemi gave the statistics already about 245 Black students in 3 years, out of a possible 19,000 places they were awarded PhDs. But as a Black Caribbean person, it's even lower. So it's 30 students in those 3 years, so about 10 a year out of the whole country. And this is something that we need to redress. We need to change this such that we don't have students like this who go through these problems and then have to be hyper resilient, hyper independent, and essentially get ground down by the process and get to a point where they're like, I don't want to continue. So we have Professor Ochieng with us. I'm very happy that he's here, but we can't become those professors if we're in environments and positions like these. So yeah, I'll probably stop there, because maybe I'm being a little too negative in that sense. But I will say my PhD process, I learned a hell of a lot. I will also say, if I can do it, those that are watching today, you can do it too. And that it's to be your authentic self. I think that's one thing I've learned as I've gone through. I've done a lot of code switching, and I know how to navigate academia pretty well, I would say. But when you come to this space, don't let it take away what is intrinsically you. And that is, I think, the most important thing. I'm not going to stop telling my truth about where I'm come from, because when you come from, you know where you're going. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm really glad that this is happening, and it happens to be my second last day at Imperial, so it's gone full circle. And well, there are 28 departments at Imperial, so guys, let's get this work going, please.